Squid Game is a must-watch for marketers. If you watch deeper, you realize that it is a masterclass in marketing. I believe Squid Game became the #1 show on Netflix in the world because it paints a realistic picture of human nature, which is the cornerstone of marketing. If Squid Game 1 is about controlling human behavior, Squid Game 2 is about predicting human behavior. Time and again, they successfully predicted that people would vote to stay in the game. Even though the protagonist, player 456, tried very hard to persuade people to vote to leave, people wouldn't listen to him. I bet you can empathize with the feelings of player 456. You try to persuade people to buy your product, you strongly believe that people should buy your product because you spend so much effort in creating a great product that can benefit them. No matter how hard you tried, people just wouldn't buy your product, just like how player 456 couldn't convince people to leave the game. Why is that so? Because he's working against human nature. On the other hand, the Squid Game masterminds understood human nature. This is why they succeeded in getting people to stay. Here are 3 things we must know. Number 1, target audience. Squid Game masterminds know their target audience inside out. What is the profile of the participants? They are gambling addicts, people who are risk takers, hungry and greedy. If you remember, at the start of the show, the recruiter went to a park and did a social experiment with the homeless people. He presented 2 choices to them, a lucky draw scratch card or a piece of bun. Majority chose the lucky draw scratch card, right? That was an inkling and precursor to the entire theme of Squid Game 2, which is the idea that the target audience prioritize their greed over their survival. In a way, think of the recruiter as doing market research before the main campaign. Through the research, he understood the behavior of the target audience inside out. As a result, there was no way player 456 could pit against them. The game's target audience will vote to stay because that is their tendency. They are the high-risk, high-reward type of people. In fact, knowing that player 456 was a survivor and winner only amplified their greed and their desire to stay. Understanding the psychographics of your target audience is very important. What are their motivations in buying from you? What is their biggest fear? And what is their biggest goal? For example, during the 2008 financial crisis, people were not buying cars because of the financial uncertainty. Hyundai understood that people's biggest fear is that they will lose their job. To encourage people to buy cars again, Hyundai made a daring move. They launched the Job Loss Protection Program, in which you can return your car to Hyundai and get a refund if you lose your job. That gave people the confidence that the economy is not going to collapse. It worked wonders. People started buying cars again from Hyundai. During the financial crisis, the entire US market fell by 37%, while Hyundai sales were up 14% in that same year. As a business, we win when we understand the motivations of our target audience. Number 2, principles of influence. After the 3rd round of voting, they gave people a fork for their meals and people started killing each other with it. Once again, the masterminds didn't tell them to kill each other, they created the environment for it to happen. They orchestrated people's behavior. The fork was a catalyst for the killing spree to begin. Everything they did from the start of the game was setting the stage for the civil war to happen. For example, they gave people a label to tag themselves as O or X. Hence, everyone could see that they belong in 2 different camps and develop animosity for each other gradually. They also displayed the prize money at the top to appeal to people's greed and survivorship bias. The further they progress in the game, the more money they accumulate and the more invincible they feel. It is the concept of persuasion that Dr. Robert Cialdini wrote about in his book. People didn't have to be persuaded, people were persuaded by all these various factors. As Dr. Cialdini said, if you want people to choose a bottle of French wine, first expose them to French background music before they decide. If you want people to agree to an untested product, first inquire whether they consider themselves adventurous. If you want people to feel warmly towards you, hand them a hot drink. All these various factors, including the labeling of participants and the display of the money, were priming them to kill each other in Squid Game. What does it mean for your business? A lot of businesses wonder why they keep getting bargain hunters or cheap customers who ask for discounts. Chances are, they have been primed by you in the first place. If you use discounts to attract them, they would expect discounts again and again. It is no surprise. Number 3, know your numbers. Ultimately, Squid Game was about understanding the behavior of the masses. It is sociology, not psychology, strictly speaking. In the business world, sales is about psychology, but marketing is about sociology, which is similar to Squid Game. Psychology is one-to-one, whereas sociology is one-to-many. For example, the Squid Game masterminds knew that more than 50% of people would vote to stay in the game, They didn't need everyone to vote to stay, they just needed 51%. Likewise in marketing, if your click-through rate is 2% and your conversion rate is 5%, you are doing a good job already. You cannot convince everyone. When we do marketing, we have to understand the preferences and the tendencies of the majority of people and cater to them. When Steve Jobs created iPhone, he wasn't catering to himself, he was catering to the masses. Steve Jobs was an artistic minimalist who doesn't like material things. He was not the target audience for iPhone, he was appealing to the masses. In order to win the marketing game, we have to understand the trends in Singapore. For example, nowadays people like to pay for experiences. They are willing to spend hundreds to buy concert tickets, but not $4 on food. By understanding the masses, you can tailor the offer and solution to meet their needs. This is why a lot of established brands such as Prism Plus or IKEA are opening retail outlets now to provide the in-person experience. However, there is also the flip side. Humans cannot be entirely predicted. Behaviors will fluctuate. That's why stock market cannot be predicted. In Squid Game, they didn't expect that player 456 will start a revolution to attack the masterminds either. It's about socioeconomics and economics. In the perfect world where everyone is logical, people buy based on supply and demand, which is economics 101. If demand is higher than supply, people are willing to pay a higher price. However, in reality, emotions come into play. That is why we always need to do speed testing in marketing. In marketing, assumptions kill. Powerful marketing skills can be a force for good or evil. In the case of Squid Game, they apply their persuasion skills to make people kill each other. However, you can use persuasion for good. If you create a good product, you should do marketing to let more people use your product. Don't be like player 456. Having good intentions alone is not enough. You need to have the ability to convince others in order to have an impact in the world. Thanks for watching this video. Do like, subscribe and press the bell notification button so that when new videos are released, you will be notified. I'll catch you soon.